Hey everyone, welcome into the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 194. I'm your host Xpad, along with my co-hosts Burley of Burleybin Gaming, Fubu87, and Leah the Hatless. So Burley, Fubu, and Leah, how are you dealing with the time change? So I was saying before we started today that here in Japan, last week it was still, starting the podcast at 6 a.m. my time, so I would usually get up around 4:30, to get everything ready and stuff. But now that this week, I could supposedly sleep in an hour later. Still, my body woke me up at 4:30 in the morning. So,
internal clock.
the internal clock just went off again, man. So. So how are you guys coping with the time difference now and the time change, the hour difference? Go ahead, Leah. Yeah.
We had time to adjust. For us, it's been like 2 weeks, so we're already well settled in the new schedule.
Yeah. For you guys, you had the extra week and all, so yeah. Yep. Fubu, you as well?
For me, it's a little bit harder because, like I was explaining before we started that. I'm stuck doing the graveyard shift at my work, and before the time change, I would get home. It was still dark. It was easier to fall asleep. Now, when I get home, it's already not bright, but it's a bit sunny, so the room isn't as dark, so it doesn't help me to fall asleep. But besides that, I handle it well.
Nice. And Burley, how about you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The first 3 nights, it just screwed with my sleep and messed with my sleep, and I hate it. I hate this. Every year we got to do it.
I know.
Doesn't matter if the time change where I'm supposed to gain an hour of sleep. It just screws my sleep up.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, here in Japan, we don't have the time changes, so we always have to adjust to the West and their time change. In the spring and in the fall and all. So so it's crazy, but So anyway. We got a great show for you today. So episode 194, getting closer and closer to episode 200. Can't wait for that one. And pretty soon we should be getting the Game Awards nominations. I think probably they're going to be dropping next week
or the week after.
Yeah. So we're excited to see what games are going to be added this year to the list of categories and what games are going to be, the Game of the Year contenders. We're really looking forward to that. So, but
I'm afraid because I was watching the list is going to come out, and I was also watching today the Grammy list, and Sabrina Carpenter is everywhere, and I'm afraid she's going to be in Game of the Year. And if she's in Game of the Year, I'm going to vote her because she's amazing.
Nice.
Uh,
All right.
I mean, we'll see.
So we got a great show for you. So we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, the modern day storyline. So could this breathe new life into Assassin's Creed or risk distracting from its core gameplay? We're going to talk about that. Nintendo's corporate management policy briefing. We're going to go through some of the points, some of the main points of what we felt were the most interesting points of that briefing. The PS5 Pro reviews are out. So is Sony's PS5 Pro worth the upgrade? So we're going to explore the early reviews and whether 2025's game lineup could make or break its value. We'll talk about that. And then Death Stranding, the director's cut is just stealthily landed on Xbox. So what does this mean for Death Stranding 2's platform exclusivity? So we'll share our predictions. We'll talk about that as well in this episode. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the first story. So Assassin's Creed Shadows. So all of the talk about Shadows the past few weeks and the past couple of months and the delay and the situation with Yasuke and all of that. But now, yeah, it looks like we're going to get new story elements and they're going to shift away from the Desmond story finally. So... So,
Yeah,
I mean, Desmond died in Assassin's Creed 3, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's-
now it's like the last part of that story. What was it in Mirage, Burley? I
Yeah.
think it was with Bassam. Yeah,
Oh,
I think-
Basm. They
Yeah.
had the Basm stuff, but they don't do any of the modern day.
Right.
It's all
No,
you're just
thank
all
God.
in the Animus. In Valhalla,
Yes,
they go back
yes.
to the thing at the end of 3
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh yeah, the reason why the world's still screwed up is we kept this machine on that Desmond used that saves the world. We have to hit the off switch." For how many years they just sat on their hands, didn't do anything. It was
Yeah.
like, you got to be kidding me! You guys can't put any effort.
yeah.
No, and Desmond died not in 3 because it was on the last one, the third game of the Ezio trilogy, which is still like Assassin's Creed 2.
No, he dies in 3.
He
'cause
dies in
plays.
3.
Is it
Yeah.
it's on
You
3
play-
with
yeah,
the American
yes.
one?
Yep,
Jesus.
yeah, he plays
I-
because they go into the new Animus in there and be like, another one of your people in your ancestry was Connor. They go
Okay.
into that.
Yeah.
Okay, I totally forgot about the American Revolution. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this is from over at IGN. So let me go ahead and read a little bit of that for you. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows will lay the foundation for a new modern day story after years of Ubisoft struggling to match the Tristan Desmond storyline from the original Assassin's Creed games. So Ubisoft's vice president, executive producer of Assassin's Creed said at a British Academy of Film and Television Arts, a BAFTA event attended by Eurogamer, that Ubisoft has, quote, struggled to find its footing, end quote, with the modern day aspect of Assassin's Creed in recent years. Quote, Desmond's journey was at the heart of the modern day conflict, driving the search for powerful Isu artifacts, pieces of Eden. So that's what he touched, actually, Fubu. He touched the piece of Eden at the end of 3, and to save the world, he had to sacrifice himself, basically.
True.
That could change the course of history, end quote. So, quote, however, with the death at the end of Assassin's Creed 3, we faced a creative crossroads. Ending Desmond's arc was a difficult decision, and afterward, the modern storyline struggled to find its footing, end quote. Assassin's Creed 3 arrived in 2012, however, so Cote, the executive producer, admitted the franchise has struggled to find a strong modern-day story in more than a decade. This has certainly been a point of frustration for fans over the years, some of whom have complained the modern-day storyline has no real direction and only detracts from the main game. So, my question to you guys is, what kind of new modern day story could they come up with, and and in the sense of being able to not distract from the core gameplay for, say, Assassin's Creed Shadows and the Assassin's Creed games that are going to be coming out moving forward. So, Burley, what do you think?
Well, the only thing I could think of is you playing as one of the other characters that you've had, like how there's Rebecca, the one English guy, and Desmond's father. You taking control as them, one of them or all of them, because you brought in that character that was in the last couple, like Origins Odyssey and Valhalla,
Yeah.
and then they just bring her and she does the thing at the end of Valhalla.
The Middle Eastern woman. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm blanking on her name, but like
Yeah.
they use her, but they don't really use her that well. And it's like it was a character of like I had no attachment, didn't care. In the case of Valhalla, you have the cutscene intro with her and the cutscene at the end when you play as her, stuff like. See, you get nothing with it. If you could, it could benefit because that's the thing. Like some of these Assassin's Creed games, it just feels like okay, they just want to show off this time, place, and area.
Yeah.
But not think of the modern day story. Like 4, they did it with that. Oh, you're an actor. We're trying to make our own pirate game, so we're putting you in this to simulate, so we can figure out our pirate story. And then some of the others was like you're bringing that, and there's the whole thing of assassins trying to send people in Abstergo to get in and hack the computers and get information that way.
Right.
But none of it really resonated, and as games kept going and they were still milking it like yearly or every 2 years a game, they put less and less in there. So it's just like now you're going to try and ramp back up. I think this is a story for them just trying to get some positive PR for Shadows, because PR for Shadows has not been good lately, and we're approaching the planned release date now of February 14th. We're just a few months away.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what are you going to throw? You're going to throw some modern story. I'm hoping it's good and hoping it's captivating, but like throwing a random new character, I don't think will work. Stick with the characters you already have built up and try and create something good with it.
So maybe the father, even, William Miles, I think his name was. Yeah,
I think you're right on that. Yeah.
If you throw him in there, and maybe him recruiting other people or something like that. I don't know. So yeah. Fubu, Leah, your thoughts on a modern day story? Yeah.
I never liked the modern day stories because I remember I was rocking with Ezio, I was killing people, I was climbing, and all of a sudden, you go play with Desmond and climb this and that and whatever. I never liked it. There was just one plot twist, a friend that it was not a friend, that I really enjoyed that plot twist, but the story itself, I never liked. I think it took from the game. I think the modern day story elements would be better, let's say, with an introduction and a conclusion to the game, and the middle part would have been just the story in whatever time period that we're playing at the moment. Or you can go completely different, like take the stories, the modern day stories, and you just have like, this is going to sound stupid, but the story revolves around an item, In Origins, there's this item, and the story progresses. Like you go to Valhalla, the story revolves around that item, and then there's more items around it. I know it's the Apple of Eden, but that affects the modern day time. I don't want to use the modern day time. I think it would be revolve around something like that. Again, I'm not a creative. If I was a creative, I would be working at Ubisoft and doing a better job than them. Or maybe I could do a better job than them at this moment because they're not going anywhere. Anyway, I think, it's true. It's true. But I would take the modern day storylines away. I don't like it. I hate it. Just focus on the time period, do the story, have a certain element of that story, go to another time period, and the story revolves around that item, something like that. Just don't make modern time. I hate that. I don't like it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's what they're going to do. Excuse me. And go ahead, Leah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, modern is hard to tell because a modern could be like a Victorian setting or even like a war setting like World War II or one, like the trenches. It could just be maybe like someone went sent back to this period and you have to retrieve them, or like unveiling something that happens, because this, at least the war periods are very convoluted, and a lot gets like missing, like people die in action, things get buried under sea and all of that. So
Yeah.
with a bit
Actually,
of
Leah, I was just going to
sorry.
say, actually, in Syndicate,
Yep.
in the DLC, there was a story of Evie Fry's, I think, granddaughter or daughter, that was the World War One. It was World War
Yep.
One
Yeah, so they
era.
could,
So,
Oh,
yeah.
it
no
could just
idea.
be like unveiling what happened, you know. So I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think it's just how they're gonna really create a storyline that is something. And I think if you go more modern visually, that could create like a big difference, because like instead of him with a clothes, he could be dressed as a soldier, or like someone in a suit, and you
Yeah.
can still do the spy and assassin things, but like dressed in a more modern way, if it makes
Yeah.
sense.
I'm thinking if it's modern day, who are the Templars? Who are the modern day Templars? Who are the modern day
Trump.
assassins? Oh, come on.
Oh, we're not going there,
We're not
Fubu.
going there. No, no, no. Let's keep the modern day politics stuff out of this. But I mean,
I mean, like you have the Da
if it's
Vinci Code, you
Japan,
had like something like that.
if it's in Japan, I mean, like the
It's
organized
the
crime syndicates.
Portuguese.
I mean,
It's the Portuguese.
it can't be the Portuguese if it's the modern day. Come on.
I know, I'm joking.
If it's Japan, I mean, maybe the modern day crime syndicates, or who knows? Maybe,
Yakuza.
yeah, the Yakuza, yeah. So
Oh, the Yakuza would be
Kiryu
cool.
could be the one of the main Templars. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So, like, what elements are going to be the Templars? Who are going to be the assassins? Who knows? But yeah, to shift the story away from the Desmond, situation, I think is a good thing. I mean, to kind of reset and to make people more interested in what's actually going on and the ramifications of what happens. But I don't know how they're going to implement this in Shadows, though. We'll see. I mean, what historical, aspects of the game will influence the modern day story in the game. Who knows? But it's going to revolve around some type of artifacts. Whether it's the piece of Eden or whatever. I mean, they're going to come up with something like that, because you still have the Isu and that to deal with. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with. But to do that so soon, I guess from the time that they're using to delay this game, they're using to implement this. I think that's kind of a short period of time to have to implement something that big into the game. Yeah.
My question is, I know Valhalla was a little while ago, but like the modern, like we finish Valhalla with Bazin alive, let's say like this without spoiling.
Yeah.
But the modern day story is not concluded. They have to continue with Bazin. I was assuming that Mirage didn't have any modern day settings, which was the best part. And I was assuming that Bazin's story was going to continue in Shadows, and now they're doing on Shadows and say it's a new modern story. So they're never going to finish Bazin's story. That's again, I don't know
Well,
if
wait.
they were saying, sorry, if they conclude, I don't know, I would make sense for me. Like they conclude the modern day story with Bazin at Shadows, and they give a hint at the end at the new story with in the modern daytime, something away from what Desmond did and what they did with Black Flag and all of the others. I was assuming they were going to do something like that because, in my opinion, Bazin's story is not done yet that I know of.
Well, his story isn't done, but I'm taking it more in the direction they're going. The Desmond era is done.
Yeah.
We're going forward from that. So yeah, you have to deal with the Basm thing, which I'd be okay if you just have it that literally Basim's like, fresh air again, and just two Templars come up and shoot him, stab him, and get rid of him.
Well, yeah, because
a shitty character.
ultimately he's bad. I mean, Basim's not a good guy.
No, he's not.
Not a good guy. That's for sure. Yeah.
He's a POS. That's
he's
the nicest way I can say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice acronym there for that, Burley. Good job. All right. So, all right. Next up. So, Nintendo, they had a corporate management policy briefing. So, a lot of discussion about, how they're going to implement like the online service and all of that when it comes to the new Switch, which, we're still calling it the Switch 2, but who knows what it's going to be called. But yeah,
Super Switch.
They're getting close to announcing this thing. I mean, but this corporate briefing and all, and I'll show some of the images from it. And Leah, I'm going to throw it to you to talk about some of the main points of the briefing and what they explained, and what we feel are some of the good points about what came of this briefing, and what we can expect for the next Switch, if they're going to call it the Switch 2 or whatever they call it. So anyway, let me go ahead and throw up the first image, and I'll let you take it away, Leah. So go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, A+ for Nintendo. Transparency, it's great with them. They publish everything online. A PowerPoint presentation with viable numbers, thank God. So the first outlook that we have here in the picture, it's basically saying that we don't know when the Switch is coming up. It's for guessing, but as they address, the plans haven't changed. Like, it's at the end of the fiscal year, so 2025, and that is not going to change. And I know other people are in a rush and they think they're going to go ahead, and they're not. They absolutely aren't, because the Switch has sold 146 million units. It has done extremely well. They share here as well the packages for the winter and December holiday sales. So with Super Mario Wonder, Mario Kart, and they are promoting Brothership, Jamboree, and The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I say, like, it's really important for Nintendo, the fact that their user base has grown. So 127 million people is like the highest it always has been. And above all, it's people of all ages. So that's good. And the 4 key points that are important, and they're also like putting it here in the presentation, is the structural changes that have been made is merging 2 platforms that were previously separated into home consoles and handheld systems. So their strategy they did with the Switch will go forward. So instead of having the teams and the development resources being divided for the 3DS and for the Wii U, they combined that all in the Switch, and that becomes a lot more efficient. So we can assume that there's not going to be like 2 separate Super Switches or Switch 2s. Like, they're going to continue this forward. So they also talk about regional expansion into growing markets. So they say, like, non-traditional markets like Brazil, it's growing a lot. Also, like in Indonesia and Singapore and all that. And they want to continue expanding in those. And they also talk about strengthening a relationship with software publishers. And a lot of the software publishers that we've seen here are basically all the games that we have. So Capcom, Atlas, Electronic Arts, Epic, Level 5, Square Enix, which tell us that they're working with them now, and they're going to work with them in the next Switch as well. So maybe if the Switch has a bigger capacity, we could be seeing like a lot of games that we like, maybe some Resident Evil, maybe some Personas, because Atlas is in here. Um, Expat is showing that a lot of series, since the Switch has sold so many units, some series that were a bit smaller have grown as well. So Pikmin, Kirby, Metroid, Xenoblade Chronicles, that were small IPs, but they've grown a lot. And that's their focus right now, is expanding their IPs, not only in video game, but the museum, in theme parks, merchandising, etc. And we are getting for visual content a new Super Mario movie and a Zelda live action movie. So that's kind of cool. It doesn't have date, but it
Yeah.
will be coming.
Right.
And I think it's really something important that Nintendo kind of closes this, and it shows how the focus that they have as a company, which is their objective is to build long-term relationships with each of our consumers, and Nintendo strives to bring smiles to as many people as possible. So their goal is to make fun games and to have people have fun, and they want to build good and lasting customer relationships. And I think it's important to look at a company that at least has an important strategy. So what we can expect from this report is the Switch era, but moving forward for the new console. So we're still seeing the main IPs. We're still seeing fun little things like alarm mode. The online system is growing. They're dedicating and developing into new IPs and new forms of interaction with the IPs they already have.
Yeah.
So far, it all looks good for Switch too. So we're setting up for something amazing. And they decided that instead of having this last stretch as a burn year where nothing is going to happen, they decided, no, we're going to do this transition well, and we're going to bring the titles over. So if you think about it, also with the news of backwards compatibility, that we already have like a huge set of games ready to play on the Switch too.
Yeah.
So like,
I think that's for
Okay.
me. That's the biggest point, is the backwards compatibility, and that's what everybody was worried about, whether or not the next Switch, whatever it's going to be called, would have backwards compatibility. So that's a good sign.
Yep.
I just want to say, cumulative software sales 1.3 billion.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's a big number.
That's insane.
1.3
It's also like
billion. Yeah.
crazy. Like Pokemon also sells like a crazy amount of numbers,
I
like
know.
99 million units, even though
know.
people complain about the game. It's still like a mind goal.
Imagine if it was
yeah.
good.
The Switch
There
is
are
going to
some
come.
good games on the Switch for Pokemon.
Yeah.
The last one, Scarlet and Violet, I won't defend that. I will defend Sword and Shield, and let's go.
146.
Let's Go was good.
146 million units altogether, though. I think that's number 2 now, Burley. I think it is getting
Yep.
close to number 2 to the yeah. So yeah, to the PS2. So I mean,
And also, like, something absolutely crazy is like how much Mario Kart still sells after like 7 to 8 years.
I know.
It's still like like it's a consistent bestseller
10
on the
years,
platform.
because that game came out on the Wii U in 2014. They just ported it to the Switch and added more DLC, because that game is, as they say, printing the money for them.
Yeah.
We're never getting a new Mario Kart, but it's still like 1 million or 2 million units last quarter. So like the last 3 months.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
fun game.
insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Played by over 100 million people worldwide. It's just incredible. Yeah. It's just
Yeah. Those numbers are just incredible. Like, I do understand that the Wii U was not the biggest console in the world, but still, comparing to the Switch, those numbers are absurd. And of course, what we're watching here, it's not even the biggest titles from Nintendo, because no Zelda's here, no Mario is here. I think the biggest one of all of those it's Metroid, which is a very historical brand and with Nintendo. So those are impressive. I would love to see Zelda, because the Zelda one where he turns into the wolf
Twilight
wasn't the
Princess.
most. Twilight, thank you very much, bro. That wasn't the most well received game. I remember the people they didn't like the graphics because it looked too serious. At the time I remember that. Maybe I'm misremembering.
It's more dark. It's more darker and gray because that came out as a launch title for the Wii.
Yeah. Oh, was it Wii? Oh God,
Yep.
Yeah,
It came for the Wii and GameCube. The Wii U got a port. It's one of my favorite Zelda games. Twilight Princess is very different, but than your traditional Zelda, but in darker. But I like because they did some different things with it.
Yeah, and it looks like a good game. I'm not gonna take that. It looks like a good game. It's something I never played it. I was hoping that when they did the remaster from again, I'm blanking on the name because it's been a long day today. But the most recent remaster, which is the original on the timeline, Skyward Sword. Thank you. When they did that one, I was expecting that they would bring Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, all of those from the Wii and Wii U.
We all did.
Yeah, the shame they didn't bring it. Maybe they'll put it on. Well, they can bring it now, and then it's going to be on the Super Switch. So,
yeah. Another thing I really liked about this was the merging of the two platforms. The home consoles and the handheld systems. So to integrate the software and the development teams together, I think that's pretty huge. So to do that, so so interesting points of this, And Burley, your thoughts? Want to get your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad they announced backwards compatibility.
Yeah,
like we pretty much figured they were going to do it because they would have got crucified. Yeah. They didn't do it, especially with the online, bringing over the stuff. Because I'm sorry, on the Wii day, back in the Wii days, they could have did it. They could have did it with the 3DS and Wii U. They got lazy. Nintendo has been lazy on that. Mm-hmm. It's true. They chose not to. They chose to be lazy on this stuff. So you know what? About time they did it. I'm glad to know that. And it's nice to see, like Spookle joined in our chat here, has said loves Metroid. It's nice to see Metroid and other of these franchises got to prosper. It's nice uniting, because that was the one thing I always kind of got annoying with Nintendo is like certain franchises would only be like, oh, we're only going to focus handheld for these franchises and not put the full effort. Like, not to say that they're not putting the full effort, but the full potential of the series can't be recognized because your handheld hardware can only be so powerful.
Yeah.
And with Nintendo, the last couple handhelds were gimmick based.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see them merged, and they were trying and experimenting. They did a lot of experiments with the Switch. A lot of it was successful, some were not, but I applaud all the effort that went in of, trying these different games, trying this, trying that. Because you know what? A lot of companies, it's no, we can't try too hard. We got to put the same thing over and over again and reskin it.
No, we need creativity.
Yeah.
Creativity is never going to be dead in the gaming industry as long as Nintendo's around.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
That's right. Yeah. So what I'm worried about is with the online services. The online service.
Please freaking get it better.
Get it better, and on the
horrible.
Switch. Yeah, I mean, start to implement more of the titles from like the GameCube era, and when it comes to the Wii U era, things like that. Start to implement more of those titles. I mean, they're doing it with Xenoblade Chronicles. I mean, not for the online service, but I mean,
like porting the games, so
porting the games over. Yeah. So I mean, if they can do that, then they could put them on the online service as well. So I think
there are two games, or one is a series because there's two of them that I would love to see on the neck, at least a port from the original ones just to test the waters. One of them is from the GameCube, if I'm not mistaken, the Skies of Arcadia. It was an RPG,
Yeah, I
which
think it was GameCube because it was PS2 era. Yeah.
yeah. And I would love to see that game because it was a beautiful game at the time. Obviously, unique story, great combat system. I really liked that game very, very much. I didn't own it, but I played it at a friend's house. It was a really good game, and I would love to see it giving maybe a remaster just to test the waters, because I think that game would be beautiful in the future on the next Switch with the more powerful console. I think it would be very, very beautiful, and something that it is not on the Switch because they did put the Metal Gear games, but I would love to see Metal Gear Acid 1 and 2. I don't know if you guys remember Metal Gear. Amazing games that were handheld for the PSP. Because the game is perfect to play with the touch screen from the Switch, and maybe do a Metal Gear Acid 3. I would love to see that on the Nintendo system, because seeing that, like you guys talked last week about the Yakuza games, they're taking more mature games and having a Metal Gear, especially for Japan. I think it would be amazing on the Switch or the Super Switch. So mixing those things from handheld with the console itself.
And what I would love to see too, I mean, because there's a lot of titles out here in Japan that don't get out to the West for like years. I would love to see Nintendo start to implement a global release schedule when it comes to some of the Japanese titles as well.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I think that's very important. I think as they move forward to do that with the new system when it comes out, and also I want to say about the theme parks, that they're the plan to open the Super Nintendo World in Orlando and like in Hollywood and stuff like that. How do you think Disney feels about that? I just
Oh, we don't like that. That's spreading in our territory.
Yeah, because Orlando, obviously, Disney World and Epcot Center, and then of course in Hollywood, that's close to the Anaheim Disneyland.
Well, it is in Hollywood, because like I'm going to go see it when I'm in LA. I have a ticket to Super Nintendo World out there, so I'm going there. Like next year is getting the Donkey Kong ride, the big one. It's already in Japan now.
Yes,
but,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so that I can't wait.
Yeah. But I mean, what do you think? I wonder how Disney feels about, them,
I mean,
kind of pushing into their territory in a sense, regionally. Yeah.
I think Nintendo's gonna need the Yakuza help, so you never know, because things gonna get.
Yeah, really. Yeah. So anyway, that was interesting, and really, really hoping we get the announcement soon of the next,
at the Game Awards
console. I'm skeptical about.
Never say never. You
never say
know.
never. Yeah, you never know. But I'm keeping it the bar is low for Nintendo to make big announcements at the Game Awards.
I'm only saying that because I'm going there. That's the only.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. Burley, you would love to see that happen in person.
Oh my God! You just think of the story I just have with that.
Well, I'd love to see it happen too. It's just I just don't think Nintendo's gonna do what Nintendo does and when they want to do it. So I'm hoping it's this year.
I force choke FUBU. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting into it, so let's go.
It's just getting so late in the year.
Anything before April 2025.
Yeah, probably.
I think Game Awards is going to be GTA 6 time. It's going to take over.
GTA 6 will be there. It'll be the last announcement.
Yeah,
the very last, the one you end with.
Belongs to them.
That's a pretty good segment into the next story. How will GTA 6 run on the PS5 Pro? So, is it worth the price tag? So, let me read some of these reviews for you here. So, let me go ahead and get this open. This is from over at the Shortcut. So, there were several reviews that came out for the PS5 Pro, and I'm going to go through some of them. So, The Verge said the PS5 Pro's benefits depend on how far you sit from your TV. If you want to pay $700 and sit 10 feet away from your from your TV. Well, maybe I should wait, but yeah. So they said, quote, find your favorite seat in front of the TV, then measure the distance between your head and the screen. Now measure your screen diagonally. Do you own a 65-inch or 55-inch TV, the most popular sizes? Do you sit 10 feet away or more? Then no, the PS5 Pro is probably not worth $700. Not even if you have 20/20 vision. The improved visual fidelity just isn't tangible enough at that distance. So
No, that's not good.
What?
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
no. What the hell?
Excuse me.
Look, I'm just gonna go out. Look, people might like the console. Okay, it's your money. You do whatever you want. If Sony was like, Fubu, here's a PlayStation. Talk about the PlayStation. Yeah, sure, I would do that. I would love to do that. But I'm not gonna pay 700 euros to talk about, like, to try the PlayStation. I've never the only time I got an upgrade on the PlayStation was on the PlayStation 3. I got the special edition of the PlayStation 3. And the only reason I got the special edition of the PlayStation 3 was because my original PlayStation 3 broke because there was something in it and it broke. It was the only console that broke in my hands. And that's the only reason. I've always stuck with the first one that I buy, always the original one since I at least started working. I buy it on day one and I keep it until the end of the year. I think the improvement is not worth the money. Even if you sell your PlayStation 5 and you get like 300 euros for it, putting more money on top of it this is the most important part. A lot of people don't have the right screen. So you'll need to buy the console, you need to buy the disc, if you have, like I do, a lot of discs, you'll need to have the television to enjoy the quality. Okay. You have to get a lot of stuff. I have my TV for 10 years. I don't even go on 4K. And like I used to play FIFA. Okay, right. It's not the biggest in terms of graphics, but people need to get a lot. It's not only 700. Like if you already have it at home, okay, perfect, great for you. But it's not worth the money. Like if it was
okay, Fubu. Okay, let me finish reading the reviews, and then you can follow up on your points. Okay, and let Burley and Leah chime in as well.
I'm enraged.
Thank you. Games Radar Plus called the PS5 Pro, quote, a gorgeous piece of kit for the tech-invested player, end quote. But said, quote, the PS5 Pro only suits its price tag in niche circumstances, but it does deliver on its promise to improve both graphics and frame rates. That $700 price point is still difficult to justify, particularly to those using a standard living room setup with a 50 to 65-inch TV. So the Washington Post said, quote, the PlayStation 5 Pro difference is real, but tricky to spot, end quote. In its review and explained, quote, the PS5 Pro, which comes with a generous 2 terabytes of storage, promises higher fidelity visuals, and it meets that promise. These games do look sharper most of the time and perform better all the time. The problem occurs when you realize the fidelity can't get much higher, especially considering the limited library of games today that take advantage of the performance boost, end quote. GameSpot was also underwhelmed by the PS5 Pro, saying, quote, I hope that one day the PS5 Pro really shows off what it can do to elevate games, but for now, this is a console you should get only if you've got cash to spare and just want to know you have the latest version of the console. For everyone else, a standard PS5 will do just fine. So you can go to the shortcut and read some of those reviews from the other media outlets. But Burley, I'm gonna let you take it away here. What do you think? I just, for me, when I play video games, I want the game to look beautiful and all, but when it comes to these comparisons, like the PS5 to the PS5 Pro, it's hard for me to see the difference. It really is. I mean, unless you look under a microscope or something, for me, and probably the other average gamers, it's like they don't care about that. So, I mean, I don't know why it would justify a $700 price tag. I mean, I know some people out there that want to buy the PS5 Pro for like Final Fantasy or Stellar Blade or some of the other bigger games that are out there, or the big games that are out there, I should say. But I just don't see the difference. I really don't. I mean, is it that big? I'll let you take it away. Go for it.
First, what am I going to spend all this money I have in my hand? I just have to get rid of it. I have no. Yeah, no. This is like over here in Canada. I posted in the chat here, and Merple and Spookle have been going off on it. Is like the base PS5 Pro without the disc drive and the stand, $1,084. So like almost $1,100, and then when you put that the disc drive and the stand, it's like $1,200 and change. And it's like I could buy a gaming PC for that price, or pay a little bit more and get specs comparable. Like even if you don't have a regular PS5, I don't see the need for this. I would still just buy the base one, because you can buy an extra storage, a 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte drive, and still be cheaper than the Pro. Most of it, you don't see the notice in the graphical stuff. Like I have a 60-inch 4K TV, but it's maybe about 8 to 10 feet away from where my couch is. Yeah. So it's like, and then if I'm streaming the game here, I don't have 4K monitors. These are 1080p monitors. Yeah. They're fine. They're great. They do the job.
And Burley, before you go on, you don't even get a stand with this.
Yeah.
You don't even... been a lot of people forgot that the stand doesn't come with it, so they got to buy it separately. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that they're doing the whole Apple approach, milking you with accessories everywhere and getting you to pay for everything.
Oh yeah.
Like I hate it. Mm-hmm. I don't like that it's this way. Yeah, some of these games you're going to get improvement and it looks better, and get extra frames and all that. That's great.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they have said companies have to put in the work and put the patch. Yeah, main studios like Insomniac, Naughty Dog, and stuff like that, first parties, they're going to do that because they have to. Yeah. The people that made Stellar Blade, yeah, they did it because they want to help sell their game more. But other than that, like in a year from now, let's say the Pro only sells 1.5 million units. Mm-hmm. Are studios that are third party, are you going to put the effort there? Because that amount of effort and extra time you're putting there, you could put into another game or put extra polish into the base game that everyone else on the PS5 is just going to PS5 going to play. It's not going to be mathematically worth it. And there's so many people that, like I've talked to other streamers, other content creators, they're like, what's the point in putting the money into this? I'd rather that extra money, that difference between the PS5 to the Pro, put that into an account, save, get the interest going, help pay for the next console.
Yeah, which could be coming soon, actually. It could be coming in like 2 to 3 years. I mean, that's
3 to 4, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Leah,
your thoughts.
I'm gonna go in, and this is a consumer's choice. If you feel like it's worth for you, that's fine. Uh-huh. I think the worst part of all of this is that the patches aren't really coming in. Some people that have Silent Hill 2 that is supposedly carried over to the PS5 Pro, they're not getting the patch. So they have the console and they have the game, and they don't really notice the difference, or the patch isn't really coming through. So I wonder how many games are in the same situation where they're still waiting for the patch to see if the game really performs in the 4K. Mm-hmm. So I think that's worse, because like if you have a lineup of games and you claim that, okay, like this game supports it, and then you have the console, you have the game, you put it in, and you don't really find that version that it's optimized for, like, what's the point, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Sony isn't worried. They say like, oh, it's for the enthusiasts, the hardware nerds that want the best. They're like, okay, fine, you do you.
So but I think what games do you think, though, in 2025 will make it a valuable console to have? I think, I mean, I think all of us can agree to GTA 6. If GTA 6
Yeah.
comes out next year, that is a big seller for the PS5 Pro,
Yeah,
for sure.
Mhm.
for sure.
But other than
Definitely.
that, what games are out there that would be a console seller for the PS5 Pro?
Not sure if it's out, but like Celebrate definitely. I think Ghosts of Yotei could be
Okay.
optimized for the PS5 Pro, and I think it would look great.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
all those like really impressive graphic games would do well, like Hogwarts Legacy. I think it's gonna work really well with the ray tracing. It
Hogwarts Legacy
does
2, which
Hogwarts Legacy
yeah,
2
which
when it comes.
comes, which they are working on now. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
But I
Hmm.
think those games that do a lot of shadow, water effects, it could pay off, but I'm not sure how much difference when you're actually playing the game. It matters because one thing is like having a frame to take a shot, another is really playing the game with the character moving. You're looking at the enemy you're aiming, you're not really looking at the landscape.
right.
But I'm also not the consumer for this product, so I'm a bit biased in terms of my opinion.
It's okay. That's
Hmm.
okay. Burley 2025 games besides GTA 6 that could uh,
Well,
make the PS5 Pro a big seller.
besides that and Ghost of Yotei, I'd say if this comes out next year, because we don't know, Wolverine
Yeah. Yeah.
potentially potentially help move some units, but like there's not much that we know for 2025 or for sure
Yeah.
that is coming that is going to be like, oh my god, PS5 Pro. Like GTA 6 is going to be the big one, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sony tries to go to Rockstar and make a bundle deal. Like,
Yeah.
we want to do a bundle,
Yeah.
get the PS5 Pro,
Yeah.
get GTA 6.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they won't get any exclusivity deal or anything, but a bundle deal, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
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 So Fubu, go ahead and finish what you were gonna say earlier, I guess.
Oh well, I'm not
Before I
enraging mob.
brutally cut you off to go into the rest of the diatribe of the
Uh,
reviews. Go ahead. Yeah.
yes, the game that I would like to see on PlayStation Pro, like it's a game that's already out, but
Mhm.
not on the PlayStation. A beautiful game called Hellblade 2. S- You know, I
Yep.
would love. I know it's exclusive
Oh, I
for the
know it.
Xbox.
I know it.
Yeah, I
It's
know you know it,
one of my favorite games of the year, for sure.
and you
Yeah.
know it's a very graphically beautiful game. It's people even say it's a walking simulator because it doesn't have the same puzzle and fighting quality from the original one, but it is indeed a very beautiful game. And having it on the PlayStation 5 Pro with all that power would make the game even more beautiful. That's what I would like to see. If it's going to happen, I don't think so.
Yeah. I have to kind of disagree with you on the combat elements. There are some new
You think
elements
so?
to the first game.
Okay.
Yes, I know so.
'Cause
I played the game, so
yeah, I didn't. I just what I read.
yeah,
It's just what I read.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, $700 price point, and for you guys, Burley in Canada, even more. I mean, I think that's just a bit too much. I mean, for like
Agreed.
just to play one or two specific types of games. I mean, like they say in these reviews, if you have the cash on hand, and if you're a techie nerd and you wanna pick this up, I mean, it's great. But for a lot of people that are penny pinchers and have don't have the extra income to spend, I think it's probably a good thing to wait. But and from what they're saying too is that this is not as big of a jump as was for the PS4 to the PS4 Pro. That was a bigger jump when it came to graphical fidelity and all. So, yeah, interesting stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. So our next story, let's go ahead and talk about a game that just shadow dropped. onto Xbox, and it's play everywhere. Yeah, you could play it on your Lenovo. You could play it on your Xbox Series X, your Series S. You could play it anywhere. So Death Stranding, Director's Cut, is out now on Microsoft's platform. So let me go ahead and read a little bit of this for you. This is from over at Windows Central. So our friend Jez Gordon. So without warning, Hideo Kojima's weird and wonderful Death Stranding Director's Cut landed on Xbox Series X and S and Windows 11 with Xbox Play Anywhere support. So the game was previously fully exclusive on console to PlayStation 4 and 5, but since launched on PC, Game Pass, and Steam. So Kojima Productions publishing partner 505 Games revealed the port to Xbox alongside a deep sale to celebrate the game's arrival on Xbox. And Kojima also confirmed that Kojima Productions now has the full rights to Death Stranding as a franchise across from PlayStation, significantly raising the prospect of Death Stranding 2 hitting Xbox in the future as well. So Fubu, I'll let you take this away. What do you think of this coming to the Xbox platform, and what does it say to PlayStation losing this exclusive in a sense? And what does this mean for Death Stranding 2 exclusivity? Your thoughts?
I think this is a marketing play because I was just talking about Hellblade 2 and saying how a beautiful game it is. I think Death Stranding 2 is also going to be a very beautiful open world, and that's walking simulator actually. Just have to walk from here to there. I think this is a marketing strategy. They're releasing to everyone at this moment on the Switch. That maybe on the Switch 2 comes out you never know. But they're doing is they're making people play the game, get interested by the game, and when the game comes out, I'm assuming it's going to be. I'm not going to say 100% exclusive to PlayStation. I think it might come out to PC as well, but they'll exclude
time exclusivity.
Time exclusive. But the thing is, I think that they're doing this to attract the most amount of people, want people to get interested in the game, and then when it comes out on the PlayStation, maybe some people might jump to the PlayStation Pro to play that game on the PlayStation Pro. Regarding itself going to the Xbox, I'm not even mad because the game is like 5-6 years old, something like that. So it's like Gears of War coming to the PlayStation. It's not going to impact as much. It's an exclusive, more historical than Death Stranding, I assume, right? But it's not something fresh. If the game was out like 6 months ago and now was on PlayStation, okay, but it's been like 5-6 years, something like that. So I think it's natural they're trying to get some more money before the game dies, like people stop buying the game. So that's what they're doing, in my opinion. I like these games. I think games should be played by everyone, and since people are not going to buy a PlayStation to play Death Stranding, they're just going to put it on the Xbox so the Xbox players can play it and get some revenue before it stops. So I like it. I hope Xbox players enjoyed this game because it's a very weird and unique game that you can try. And I know maybe people don't like Kojima. I like Kojima's work. I think he does some creative work. And that's my thoughts about it.
Excuse me. I mean, the thing about Kojima, he's a great game developer, but I think originally he wanted to be a movie director.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't work out, so he became a video game maker. And but now that his games are worldwide popular worldwide, and he's gotten the attention of a lot of the Hollywood actors and so forth. You have Norman Reedus in his game. Now he's probably thinking about wanting to be a movie director again. He's got the big directors that was also in Death Stranding.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, we shall see. But and he's got the game coming for Xbox as well. So we shall see.
And just talking about this, I think he might be the only person that can pull out a Metal Gear Solid movie, because he created the IP, not created the IP, but he knows the IP like no one else. I think he's the right one to do that, and with the help of famous actors like Norman Reedus, having the knowledge of Guillermo del Toro, he's a great movie producer, director. He's a very, very good. Seen a lot of stuff. A little bit does dark stuff, but he knows, and they can all guide Hideo Kojima to create the perfect Metal Gear Solid movie.
Yeah, Hideo Kojima. Yeah, I mean, it's basically, I think he'll never be able to make a Metal Gear movie because Konami would never let him. So
For the right money, I think Konami would go. It's all
no,
about
they would
money. I
not.
think.
No,
No,
No.
there's a whole
No.
thing of like pride
No.
and business and
yes,
culture.
not
that
in,
would-
not in
it's-
this
it's-
culture here. Yeah, that's
Okay. That's Japanese culture. All right, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
yeah. So
I mean,
anyway, go ahead, Leah.
I
Your
love
thoughts
Hideo
on all of this?
Kojima.
Yes.
He's living his best life. I know he met Caroline Polachenko, and then I think this week he met Alfonso Cuarón, which is
Yeah.
like, what is going on here? That was really cool.
Yeah.
First of all, amazing. That man created the best horror game of all time, which is PT. Chef's kiss. I'm glad it's coming for the Xbox, and this gives me hope that his collaboration with Jordan Peele, which is OD, which is coming
Yes.
only
Yeah.
for Xbox, might
yes.
be
Yeah.
coming to PlayStation as well. So, like, maybe
A
it's
timed
like
exclusive or
a
something.
trade-off here of
Maybe.
some sort. Like, it was a time exclusive, now it's coming to Xbox, the other way around as well. So, like, I'm excited. We'll see what happens from here. Like, we can't exclude that OD can be very cinematic as well. Maybe he doesn't really want to leave the video game approach completely behind and wants to make like an experience of sorts, which makes sense. I mean, that's why he became a freelancer and has his own studio, so he has the freedom to experiment and do different things. That's the whole point of having your own studio.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age though too. I mean, he's around 60 now or over 60. So I mean, I could see him doing a few more games, but due to the longevity of the development cycles of the games that he makes, I mean, yeah. I mean, if he's going to get into any kind of movie production or movie work or directing or anything like that, he better do it soon. So
Yeah,
that's
but
just my
like
thought,
you
yeah.
can also direct short films. Like you don't have to do a full movie length. So like something shorter could be like in the realm of possibility. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. So, Burley, your thoughts on this and Death
Yeah, well-
Stranding shadow dropping onto Xbox like this?
This is interesting that him and Sony reached some kind of agreement. I'm wondering if Sony, just because right now they're still hurting after the loss of Concord, how that did not go well. So they probably were able to get some quick, easy cash from them. Said like, I'm just throwing numbers out here. I'll give you guys $5 million for the IP of Death Stranding back. Sony looking like, you know what? We need some cash. As a quick cash thing. Let's get it. Because we have the second game coming on PS5. You can do a marketing push with PS5 and PS5 Pro.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's take the cash. Let's get that. Because Death Stranding, yeah, it's great to see it coming to Xbox. It was already on PC like
Right.
6 months to a year later. It came to PC, the base edition, then the director's cut and all that. Like I played the game. I tried it on PS5, and as Fubu said, it is a walking sim. The story is interesting, but
Yeah.
what the gameplay was just like I was streaming the game and I was like put myself to sleep with the gameplay. I'm not gonna lie. I quit streaming the game. I was like, okay, guys, if I can't make it, like I did 2 streams of it. I'm like, if I can't every time this game is just putting me to sleep, I can't do it. Like I can understand. I'll watch the story cutscenes on YouTube, and that's how I can get through the game for me.
Yeah.
But it is a
So,
marketing
to Sorry to interrupt, Burley, but what you're saying is that Dead Stranding, it's a cozy game. How great! Cozy gamers out there, play Dead Stranding.
It's not that cozy, trust
This is
me.
from the Arena production.
Yeah.
No, because like the definition of cozy is like a relaxing game that it's not very stressful and you could just go around and have a good time. So
Oh, it does. It does have its stress. It does have its stress
Yeah.
when you do get in combat, but it is a cozy game. You can kind of label it that. But like I do
I,
agree with Fubu that this is also a marketing push to spread, and it also keep people's mind in for, because I don't think, is it coming 2025 or 2026, Death Stranding, Jay?
2025.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
From
to
what
keep it in
from what
people's
Kojima
mind.
says, because at
Yeah.
TGS he was like, "It's coming in 2025, but I can't tell you when in 2025."
Yeah, and
I mean, what kind of response is that? I mean, come on.
well,
That's a
it's
non-response, if anything. Yeah.
it's Kojima being Kojima, and Spook will put it in
Exactly.
chat. It is so comfy, and I know he also means cozy because I know Spook will.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
great.
All right. Okay, so next up, so it's time to talk about our new game release picks of the week. So each and every week here on the Arena Productions, we talk about and pick Fubu. I think that in your background somebody's
No, it's
talking.
also
Yeah, can you? Yeah. So thanks for taking care of that. So yeah, so each and every week here on the Arena Productions, on the Arena Gaming News podcast, we do our picks of the week from www.releases.com. You can check out the ticker below. So each and every week we pick our game of the week. So for this week, the week of November 11th through the 17th. So from www.releases.com. So Fubu, you are up first. What game do you have for us this week? What is your pick of the week?
I thought everyone was gonna pick this game, but it's Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. Years ago, the great hero Ortega bid farewell to his wife and child as he set off on the quest to defeat the villainish archfiend Baramos. Ortega failed his quest, and Baramos still threatens the world. Now, on their 16th birthday, Ortega's only child is summoned by the king of Alian and entrusted with mission of the highest import. To take on Ortega's quest, vanquish Paramos, and save the world. Stunning HD 2D visuals fuse pixel art with 3D graphics, bringing players into the world of Dragon Quest III like never before, along with improved and modernized UI and other quality of life improvements. A refined take on the classic turn based battle system, featuring new animations, additional improvements such as adjustable battle speed and auto battle settings, and more. Deep exploration of vast world map with an abundance of rich and captivating locations to discover, challenging players to overcome many unexpected encounters during the journey. Comes out on 5 days on November 14 on PC, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and Switch. And the reason I chose this, as everyone knows, I love RPGs. I'm not going to say this game made my childhood because that time I didn't play these games. But when I discovered emulation, I devoured all of the RPGs that I could. And one of those that stood out was the Dragon Quest games. To this day, I try to buy them when I can. And this game with these graphics, it's beautiful. I love when they did the Octopath Traveler with these graphics, Triangle Strategy. It's beautiful, beautiful. And of course, giving this game is to attract the older folks like me and Burley, not Leah. She's young; she's just a baby, and they have to include some features like the Autobot battle and battle speed. It's very good for someone like me that I don't have enough time because family work and all of that stuff. I can just speed up the game and just enjoy it, and I think everyone else will enjoy because Dragon Quest. I'm not going to say it's the best one, but it's definitely one of the best ones in the series. So it's 3, 8, and 10. Those are the best ones. It's very very good, and I know people will enjoy it.
10's the MMO. Do you play?
No, wait,
Yeah.
which? No, there's one, the most recent one.
11. 11.
11, yeah, probably 11. Yeah, 11. Because you can even, there's if you bought it on the Switch, then later came out on the PlayStation, you can play with the Super Nintendo graphics, the sprites all pixel.
Yeah, because that
not
was
just-
originally the 3DS version that didn't get
Exactly.
ported over to the West. That was supposed
exactly.
to
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's beautiful, a great game, and I'm sure if people play it, they will love it.
it is a great RPG. My only reason I didn't pick this, I've beaten this game. I will eventually pick this version up, but this is $90. Not to say that I'm not going to get my value. The game I've already played and beaten, so I will wait into next year, or wait and pick it up when it's like half price.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's my reason as well. So, all right, okay. So I think Burley, you and I have the same pick again this week. See, you and I, we think alike all the time when it comes to this stuff. It's so good. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so awesome. So anyway, what is our pick of the week? Hey.
Our pick of the week is Lego Horizon Adventures.
Yay!
In a far future where giant mechanicized beasts roam the landscapes reclaimed by nature and humans live in a primitive tribes, and ancient evil seeks to destroy the world. Join Hunter Aloy as she leads a colorful crew of heroes on a quest to save the meadows, forest, and the mountains of Earth from a man called Hylas, who leads a gang of sun worshippers that follow an ancient evil shrouded in mystery. Dive into a thrilling adventure alone or friends with couch co-op or online play. Customize your home Lego style and uncover stunning secrets from Aloy's mysterious past along the way. So yeah, this is coming to PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC. I love my Lego games. I love building little Legos. I have some at my desk here. So this is just going to be fun. And I love Horizon. Yeah. You know it's a short experience, but you know you're going to get and have a great time and have fun, and just to go back to the Horizon world, but this be very different, a different experience. I can't wait to see what they do with the plot and stuff.
Yeah, and like having the Sackboy skin and stuff like that too. That's pretty cool. So,
oh yeah,
good stuff. I can't wait to play this game, man. Yeah. So, and what elements of the stories they're going to implement into this, I'm interested in seeing. Yeah. So, but yeah, having the Nora and of course, all the different tribes and things like that. You can wear the certain outfits and things like that. Also, pretty cool. So.
Yeah.
Cool. All righty. Okay, Leah, you're up next. What do you got for us?
Yes, so my pick was Funko Fusion. Experience your favorite movies and TV shows like never before in Funko Fusion, a 4-player action-adventure game that brings together iconic characters and worlds from Jurassic World, Back to the Future, The Umbrella Academy, The Thing, Child's Play 2, Masters of the Universe, and many other blockbusters into Funko Pop form. Funko Fusion features dozens of playable characters in Funko Pop form from popular NBC Universal stories, all lovingly crafted with their own unique personalities and abilities. Play with up to 4 players and explore incredible worlds from the movies and TV shows you love. It comes out in 6 days, November 14, for the PlayStation 4 and the Switch, which is interesting. That's why I picked this game, because it's coming out for the Switch. It's already available in PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC. Because the Switch is where the fun is at. I'm really curious to see how this plays on the Switch. And it's a perfect holiday game to play with family. So just Burley, co-op together.
So Burley, I'm wondering if there's ever going to be a game on releases.com that's an Xbox only or PlayStation only excuse me, game that that Leah's going to actually pick. It's mostly Switch games all the time. So yeah.
But
when health piece is over,
Xbox, I can't flick an Xbox game because then I'm never gonna play it.
Okay. Well, no. That if there is the Animal Crossing clone that is only on the PS5, Leah will be on that day one and be championing it and be like, You were all buying it. Fubu, I'm going to make you play it.
She will. She will.
I know
She gave me
Yeah.
the.
There is an indie game that is coming. Like, I don't know when, but it's called Haunted Paws. And I'm gonna get Fubu to play with me because it's puppies in a horror situation. And you can play co-op and it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
You know, I'm big, so I'm gonna be the Saint Bernard, and she's small, so she's gonna be the Chihuahua.
Sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, it's like how long has it been since games have been coming out where you actually pet the dogs and pet the cats and things like that? I mean, ever
Also,
since
the
then,
DS was made it
yeah,
huge with the Nintendogs and
yeah,
Cats and all
yeah.
that stuff.
Ever
So, like
since then,
Please,
it just blew
2004,
up.
Nintendo,
5.
please port those games. We
Yeah.
have been waiting for those. So it's a
Oh,
criminal that haven't been ported yet to the Switch.
www.releases.com. You can go to www.releases.com and check out all the games that we picked, as well as all the games that come out through the rest of November and beyond. www.releases.com. So go and check that out. So, all right. So
Yes.
next up, it's time to talk about the PS Plus Extra and Premium lineup for November. So, Burley, this from over at the PlayStation blog. So, Burley, what do we got for Extra and Premium for November?
so extra tier, we got The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition for both PS4 and PS5. Rainbow Six Siege, PS4 and PS5. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix PS4. The 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue PS4. And Kingdom Hearts 3. And the Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. So pretty much every Kingdom Hearts game on the extra tier. And oh goody, this game. Oddworld Soulstorm Enhanced Edition, PS4 and PS5. I think you remember my thoughts on that X when I was playing.
Yeah, that was a launch title for the PS5, wasn't it? I think. Yeah.
It was like it launched window.
Yeah, it came out right around that time. So yeah.
Yeah, not too long after, and the Division, Tom Clancy's Division 2 for PS4, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Taurus, which is a space shooter. What Remains of Eden Finch, PS4 and PS5. The Gardens.
Edith Finch, Burley.
Edith Finch.
Edith
Thank
Finch,
you.
yes.
Now, one here I've actually really played, The Gardens between PS4 and PS5. Great little puzzle, interesting kind of game. It's take you a couple hours, but it's a lot of fun, and this will get Fubu happy. Easy trophies.
Nice. Love easy trophies. Love it.
Yeah.
Nice. I got a collection. I got a collection of them.
I know. Same. Also, you have Earth Defense Force World Brothers, Earth Defense Force Iron Rain, and one Chibara Origin, all for PS4. And then for the premium side, we got Ratchet and Clank, Ratchet and Clank 2 Going Commando, Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal, Ratchet and Clank Deadlock, and Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction, Future Tools of Destruction, all the PS3 versions of them. Great games. I highly recommend checking them out. Like I played a lot of these Ratchet and Clank games back on the PS2. I own the PS3 collection as well, but like great games to get you if you're interested. Right. If you liked Rift Apart, go back and try something.
Yeah. Rainbow Six Siege, man, that's been out for over almost 10 years now?
Probably. I think it's 2015 it came out.
Yeah, almost 10 years. Yeah. It's been out for a long time. That and the Division 2 now. So
Yeah, 2015. It came December 1st, 2015. Yeah. 9 years now.
9 years, yeah.
Yeah, also the game What Remains of Edith Finch. I played that game a couple years ago, and it's very good. Story-based.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing.
Kind of a walking sim as well, but it's well worth it. Yeah. So.
Oh, absolutely. So Fubu, if you want to platinum What Remains of Edith Finch, I bet it's not that difficult to do as well.
Fubu, man. Fubu.
If I need equipment,
I don't know, Leah. Probably about, excuse me, probably about 10 minutes in, he'd probably go back to his soccer game.
Nah, he commits to the games as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey,
Yeah.
look, I'm gonna tell you now. I'm almost on 70 hours on Visions of Mana. Almost 70. So I commit. It's we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I commit to games when I like it. And if I like Edith Finch, I will probably play it. But the only thing I have to say is when Vandal Hearts, the PlayStation 1 the trophies, that's the only thing I want on the Plus because it's one of my favorite games. Konami, listen to me, please.
Hey, I have a few students named Mana. Excuse me, my voice is going for some reason again. It's, I guess, the dry air now because it's starting to get colder out here. So in the morning air, I guess. But yeah, I have a few students named Mana, and I always tease them about the video game, Visions of Mana. Visions of Mana, yeah. So I'm like, go play it. It's really good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is really good actually.
It is really good, yeah. And they're like, okay, hey. So, yeah. All right. So that's the extra premium list for November. Burley, final thoughts. Good lineup.
Yeah, it's not a bad lineup, I would say overall. It just seems to like you got a definitely heavy handing of Ubisoft, and you got the Kingdom Hearts series. This seemed a very much more action heavy and a little puzzle heavy. A good amount of puzzle games. I would have thought a little bit more variety, but hey, you know what? They brought a lot of titles, so there are some great games I can recommend trying in there. Like if you are a fan, if you get into the Kingdom Hearts series, you got them all there on the extras here, so go play. There's some really great games in the series.
Nice. Good stuff. All right. So moving, I just want to also say too, Mana is a very common Japanese female name. So yes, Mana-chan, Mana-san. Yes.
Okay.
Good stuff. All right. So next up, it's time to talk about our programming notes. So here on the Arena Productions, we are not only a video game content related channel, we also do science fiction, entertainment, and pop culture related content. So, but before we get into the entertainment side of our content, Burley's got a couple of videos that he did this week that we have here up on the Arena Productions. So for our programming notes, so Burley, take it away. For first is the video that you did on the Dragon Age, the Veil Guard, playable on the Steam Deck. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I did a quick little short video on Dragon Age, the Veil Guard, how it runs on the Steam Deck, because we got a few months ahead of time, we got the info that it was Steam Deck verified. So I go in showing that it is Steam Deck verified. I'll spoil that part. They is say that, but graphically is a little interesting, and I talk a little about the graphical settings and stuff like that. So anyone wondering what it looks like and runs on the Steam Deck, you will see in the video. Please do go check it out.
Yes, definitely. And then next up, your Super Mario Party Jamboree gameplay review short. The things you want to say about that?
Yeah, so I do another quick little short review here of just Jamboree, talking a bit about it, stuff that's different, some stuff, and just how it fits with like Mario Party and some of the stuff like that. So if you're interested, here's just a quick, nice bite size. You can watch this while you're having your quick cup of coffee and get the info you need.
Nice. Good stuff. All right. And then over on the entertainment side, to wrap it all up, Star Trek Lower Decks. we got our Klingon episode finally. So this is yeah. And so episode, I think 4 it is. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the Klingon culture explored in this episode. We get of course Boimler and Mariner helping out some of the Klingons here. So it's another great episode. So please go and check that out. It's my spoiler-free review of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, Episode 4. So unfortunately, this is the final season of Star Trek Lower Decks, but it's going out on a bang bang note. The episodes are really, really good so far. So please check that out. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, Star Trek Lower Decks. Such a good show. Yeah, really,
Agreed.
really-
I do need to get caught up on episode 3 and 4.
yeah,
Been
it's good
wanting
stuff.
to put time, just haven't had the time.
Yeah, and this coming week, of course, there will be another episode of Star Trek Lower Decks I'll be doing a spoiler-free review on. But also, probably tomorrow, early this coming week, I will be putting up Act 1 of Arcane Season 2. So my spoiler-free review of that. So please check that out when it drops here on the Arena Productions. So yeah, Arcane, which is based on the League of Legends series on Netflix. And a lot of critics are saying it's the best animated series that's ever been put on Netflix. It's really, really good. And I highly recommend it. So the animation quality is just amazing on it. So I'm getting through the first 3 episodes. So basically they're doing 3 acts. The first act dropped on the 9th. Today, or I think it was yesterday or today. I don't remember now, but when it comes to the time difference. But then next week is Act 2, and then the week after that is the final act, Act 3. So, and each act has 3 episodes. So I'm excited to get the first one out for you, probably tomorrow. So, but anyway, stay tuned and look forward to that. So anyway, those are our programming notes. So here on the Arena Productions. So that does it for that. So next up, games that we'll be playing this coming week. What do you guys have up your sleeves for this week? Myself, I have no idea. When it comes to Arcane, because I'm really focused on Arcane Season 2 right now, and then Lower Decks and getting some of the other stuff ready for towards the end of the year. I will maybe try to. I might go ahead and buy Lego and play that Burley a little bit if I get a chance.
Ooh.
Yeah, but still moving along with Call of Duty. So
Hey, are you still playing on veteran mode?
yes,
Is it because of your age?
What?
Excuse me.
Worst
What
joke
was that?
time.
What was that?
I just wanted to
came
make
out.
a joke.
Bye bye. That is an ejector right there. Yeah. So-
Yeah, no shit.
Ah, that's great.
no, I'm just
Oh my
kidding.
god.
Fubu, to answer your question, no, it's not because of my age. I mean, my reflexes are fine. I mean, I still have pretty damn good reflexes. I used to be a basketball player. So, yeah, I just play it for the fun of it because I know I'm going to die every 10 seconds. So, what the hell? I mean, it's fun. The missions are
last
cool.
week-
So, yeah.
Yeah, because last week you were saying we're playing veteran, and I was like, oh man, if I would send this joke.
I
That's
always
why
play on veteran when it comes to Call of
I
Duty.
know.
I just do it. I just do it for the sake of doing it, So yeah. So Leah, just a reminder that is our TikTok moment for the week. Okay, so yeah,
It is.
you can clip that one.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's why I do
put
it.
All right.
That's why
there.
I do.
yeah. So it's even better than the force chokes. Yeah. So good stuff. All right. Anyway, Burley, what are you going to be playing and streaming this week?
Well, obviously, Lego Horizon when the game comes out.
Yeah.
I didn't get much time for Veilguard this week, but I will be playing a bit of that over the next couple of days. And having
Nice.
some fun with that.
Nice. Leah, what are you going to be playing?
I mean, honestly, Pokemon trade carding game app because that's the only thing I've been playing lately. Just
One of my
opening the
students is just so into that right now. Yeah, into the trade.
Oh
card
yeah,
game.
you can
Oh,
you
yeah,
can
big.
get it
It's
because
big
you can
here in
also
Japan.
have
Yeah.
the battle element to it.
Right,
So it's
right.
not just collecting the cards; it's also playing. So I'm having fun with that.
Yeah, it's big
And
here in Japan. It's big. Yeah. So
I imagine it's been
yeah.
great. So yeah, maybe I'll try to also finish Silent Hill. I haven't yet because this week's been a bit difficult, but maybe
Yeah.
I'm on the prison, and
Okay.
goddamn those enemies just see coming. Leave
Yeah.
me alone.
Told you. I told you.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
I bet. I'll survive. I'll be fine.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Fubu, what are you gonna play?
Yeah, I'm finishing Visions of Mana. I
Let
already
me
completed
guess, it's
it.
not a game that challenges your reflexes.
No, it doesn't. I'm not gonna lie. It's
Yeah.
actually an easy game. I think the game's
Yeah.
very easy, but I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
What I find weird without spoiling anything, like there's 10 chapters, but it
Mhm.
feels like the 10th chapter was supposed to be like a DLC, and because
Mm.
I don't know, maybe there was some type of reason, and they cram it in the game because the 10th chapter doesn't make that much sense to me. But without spoiling it, but loving the game, and I'm working on that thing that I already talked to you. I'm not gonna say it now, but there might be a surprise about it, so we'll see how it goes.
Cool. 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 Just another note before we finish up the episode. So, of course, now the Arena Gaming News podcast is for out there in Europe. I think it's at 10 p.m. now that it starts. Leah and Fubu
Yep.
for you out in
Yep.
Portugal. Yeah, so I think it's GMT time out in the
Yes.
UK as well.
Yeah,
So
Greenwich Mean Time. It's
Greenwich Mean
correct.
Time, yeah. So 10 p.m. It starts now, and in the United States and Canada, they are back on Standard Time. So, but 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. So that's when you can check out the podcast live. Of course, this is in video on demand. You can watch it whenever you have time. But if you can join us live, we'd really love to have you for the conversations and all. And then also on the social media side, we also have the Arena Productions also now on Blue Sky. So we are now over on Blue Sky. So come and follow us over there if you have jumped ship from Twitter X and are now on Blue Sky. So you can find us there. The link is below. And also on Threads. You can also find us on Threads as well. So the link to the Arena Productions on Threads is there below. So please come and follow us over there if you use Threads as well. So, alrighty. So now it's time for our indie recording artist spotlight. So each and every week we spotlight an indie recording music artist and their music, along with our outro to end the show. So this week's spotlight. So let me get that up here. This week's spotlight is on Ángel Salazar. Born in Andalusia, Spain, a region full of music and art, composer Ángel Salazar has gone on to pursue his musical career in France. With a strong focus on film scoring, he strives to fill every piece he creates with a distinct flavor and mood. From deeply emotional songs to intense action, his music adds a depth of impact to the film's visuals. From his album titled Life, and the song is called Lives. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 194. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleyman Gaming, Fubu87, and Leah the Hatless. So we hope to catch you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Have a great week of gaming, and we'll see you next week. Peace.